Love, love, until I feel the breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello, welcome to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine Lee, your host, and our guest is Patrick G. He's the Vice President of Call of Guadalupe and one of the founders. Call of Guadalupe is a theatre company. Could you tell us a little bit of how it was founded?
Well, it started about 15 years ago in 2004. It was started by John Lee, and the play has been going for all these years with about a show every year.
And besides Call of Guadalupe, you put on other shows too?
Yes, we have done about 5 or 6 other plays and musicals that has been written by John, and we've been doing that for almost every other year.
Wow.
And then in between we also do Call of Guadalupe.
So tell us a little bit about the values of this organization.
We are essentially a Christian group, and we are very much promoting the sanctity of life. And in that regard, we think about children, young infants, babies, and then we talk about the old and the invalid.
And were you always very passionate about putting on these musicals?
Well, mine was a very slow start. When I was with John Lee, I was on the sidelines watching him getting the musical ready. And it was only about a year later that I was brought into the whole system, and when I was, in a sense, converted to the idea.
Yes.
Yes.
What do you like about the ideas of the musical?
Well, I think it's a very much a family pro-life musical, and it's very joyous, very brings a lot of people together, and in many ways over the years it has been life-changing for some, both for our actors, for our cast members, for those who are helping behind the scene, and more importantly for our audience members.
Yes. And did you have something that happened that sort of changed your mind? Because at one stage you were a bit skeptical, and I think there were a few little signs.
Yes. What happened was that I've always been on the sideline playing, in a sense, devil's advocate, saying things like, oh, are you sure this is going to happen? I think this is far too grand an idea, bringing the musical interstate and perhaps overseas. That was the vision of John Lee. And I've always been somewhat reluctant to accept the idea that it might go overseas and that it might go interstate, and that we'll find all the cast members along the way, because essentially they're all volunteers, and I've always had my doubts as to how strong we can attract such people to be able to carry on that idea. And I was proven wrong. And what happened was that on one of the occasions when I was interrupting John or someone within this organization talking about the musical, in one instance, for example, I suddenly realized as I was talking, and perhaps objecting to the idea, that the miraculous medal that I wear suddenly dropped within my shirt.
All right. So when they were suggesting something fairly big, you were wanting to say, oh, it's not going to work.
Yes, I had my doubts about it. And so that was the first time. And the second time that it happened to me was when I was in the bathroom about to have a shower. And as I was entering into the shower cubicle, a thought came to me about something that had to do with the performance and the work leading up to the performance. And I thought to myself, just as I was about to articulate in my mind that it was going to be a silly idea, suddenly again this miraculous medal fell off the chain from my neck.
It wasn't a broken chain?
No,
anything?
it wasn't.
It just came out of the chain?
It flew off and
Wow.
dropped onto the floor. And I thought then, wow, this is a bit spooky, and that there was absolutely no reason for it to drop. And then on the third time, in fact, when I was in my kitchen, speaking with you actually, Geraldine, at that time, you were at the other end of the table and you were saying something. And I just started to open my mouth to object because I clearly remember the incident. As I was about to open my mouth, I felt again that the metal dropped within my shirt, and that to me was the clarion call to come into the system and not to object. So I was in a sense a convert after that.
Would you say that you have a tendency towards being a realist or a little bit cynical, or?
Well, I've always been perhaps someone who I think is organized in the sense that I know how much work goes into
Yes.
preparing something, and to be able to mobilize such a big group of 30 or 40 actors and to be able to put them on a bus or on a plane and to go to interstate to do a show, I've always been a bit skeptical that could happen on a grand scale. And of course, I didn't take into account, I suppose, at that time, the divine factor that anything is possible when there's a group of people of goodwill come together to do a project.
Yes, I think I remember you saying, don't look for problems.
Oh, yes, yes. My latest motto is, don't look for trouble. So often when a project would come to my mind or that's been put up to me that required extra work, extra commitment, I would say don't look for trouble, because we've done so much work together and we have seen so many issues and problems in the past.
You don't want to have it again.
Kind of reluctant to revisit all those again.
Yes, I understand, because I'm not that young, but I do like Pope Francis saying, he said, we were not called for comfort, we were called for greatness.
Yes.
But I do understand. So you do a lot of practical hard work. Besides being the vice president, you also make the props.
Yes, I'm during every show I'm in charge of production with props. I'm also the stage manager, so I have to organize all the technical aspects of the show and to mobilize all my people who help backstage. That's quite a number of people who needs to be there when I'm actually running the show.
Yeah, that's a big job, and it's great that you're a realist, but you really keep pushing through with your faith. But on that note, we need to go for a break. You've been watching Spirit of Life. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine, your host, and our guest is Patrick G. He's the Vice President of Call of Guadalupe, a musical theatre group. Hello, Patrick.
Hi, Geraldine.
You were talking about pushing through in spite of the challenges and trusting God. So to me, it sounds like you've taken on another show.
Yes, there's an upcoming show, and I think it has been about a year since we did our last musical, Mary Magdalene. And in December this year, we're going to stage another musical, Call of Guadalupe, and that's the musical that we started off with 15 years ago.
Yes, what is that musical about?
Well, it's basically about Our Lady of Guadalupe appearing to a peasant in Mexico, Juan Diego, and he traces his life through the period when Our Lady led him to bring a message to the Archbishop and to ask them to stop human sacrifice, which was very prevalent in those days. Thousands would be sacrificed each day. And I think it was the message that resonates with what we're doing at the moment, because sanctity of life is something that's sacred, and I think that's something that we often forget when governments and people come together and construct legislations that ought to protect the young and the old. And that's what our musical is about.
Yes. From memory, there's a song in the musical that says, through thick and thin, that there is life has sufferings,
That's right.
and that with each other and with God, you can get through it.
That's right. Yes,
Yes.
very much so. And I think that it is essential that as part of the ethos of the Christian is that we have to value the sanctity of life, and as young and old, we should do our best to protect them, because there are moments when they're defenseless, either when they're in the womb or when they're getting very old and helpless.
So you not only defend life through the message of the musical, but your theatre group is inclusive. You don't reject anyone if they've got a disability or mental illness. You don't exclude them.
Exactly. Our group are staffed by volunteers. We do not have any professional actors, although some are very close to being professionals. So we accept young and old of any class distinction and without any distinction, and we help to encourage them, and we ultimately find a role for them, either in the musical, within the musical, or if they could help with the staging of the show, front of house, or even just as simple as asking their friends to come to the show.
From my understanding, there's been some people in your theatre group that didn't go through university but have fairly big jobs. They didn't go through the normal avenue of university but still were able to be a manager. There's someone who was the costume lady who now is like a national director and things like that. So your theatre group gives people opportunities that make to express their gifts. Is that true?
Certainly, most certainly. We have had young cast members who came and joined us as far back as about 10, 15 years ago, who were shy, who were really very introverted, and by joining our musical, helping, and some of them as actors, they have blossomed over the years, and it's given them the confidence that they've been looking for. And I think within a climate where there's a group of people that is encouraging of each other, we actually support and we help to encourage them to discover their inner talents. So even within the musical, around the musical, behind the stage, we've had wonderful, wonderful people that has come on board, and sometimes just by the grace of God, they've found their calling by coming, and they've transformed their lives.
As far as my knowledge, there's some people who are now professional singers. One in Hong Kong, China. She's a
Yes.
and one who goes around Australia, Genevieve, and
Yes, that's right.
and Georgia, who's a jazz singer, and some who have become priests.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Our lead actor is such a person, and David Lemowu was with the group for about 4 or 5 years, and then he had a higher calling, and he decided to join them, the MGLs, Missionaries of God's Love. And then again, we have even a very shy lady. Her name is Grace, who has now become an event manager, and she's very much sought after for her skills. And she came through the ranks. She was very shy, and she found her inner skill, and she's a really
she was a
good
homeschool
actor.
child, wasn't she?
Yes, indeed.
And didn't necessarily go to university, but got a top job.
Not at all, but yes, she did go to college, and she to TAFE and all that for her
fantastic.
calling, yes.
And with your message, you also have a quite very good music and very good writing. You know, tell us about the music of the musical.
The script by John Lee is magical. In fact, I feel that Call of Guadalupe is one of our best musicals that we have actually staged. The message is amazing, it's uplifting, and also the music that's been written by Peter Foster is truly uplifting. In fact, during the show, even though we've done it now for about 10, 15 years, I still get goose pimples when the music starts. And when the singers perform, it is heavenly. And I would encourage everyone and anyone who's seeing this to come for a slice of heaven.
And you all are still looking for actors and singers and backstage in the theatre group.
Yes. Our group of actors can number anywhere up to about 30 or 40, including young adults and children. So we're always looking for cast members to join us at all levels.
That's fantastic. We need to go for a break now. You've been watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us and we'll be back after the break.
Go till I hear much breath of thy Spirit flowing in me. Go till I hear much breath of thy Spirit flowing in me.
Hello, welcome back to Spirit of Life. My name is Geraldine Lee, your host, and our guest is Patrick G. He's the Vice President of Call of Guadalupe Theatre Company. Welcome back.
Thanks, Geraldine.
Patrick. Your organization really supports people and even the people in the theatre group through hardship. What kind of things do you all do for people with hardship?
We have a group that helps those who are in need, either material or spiritual. We give them counseling, and we also enable them to be part of the community by giving them jobs and outsourcing work for them. And we try wherever we can to give them access to
That's
mainstream
wonderful.
activities and work.
So I suppose with this that you need funds. What kind of activities do you have to raise money?
As with any organizations running a course such as ours and staging a musical, there are funds and there are costs that are can be quite high, staging a show. The hiring of the theatre, the sound, lighting, and just resources to accommodate all the actors. So every year before a show, we have to raise additional funds because our shows and the audience numbers do not always
Cover the cost.
cover all our costs. So we are running this year a dinner dance
Yeah.
on the 17th of
November. I believe there'll be a bit of free dancing lessons and a bit of singles connecting and
Yes, and all that. So
Yeah.
it's a fun night. We actually have a little bit of a live program before the dinner for adults to meet, to help to know each other, and perhaps,
singles getting to know each other.
singles getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And then during the night, we'll have wonderful music that will help groups to go dancing.
Yes, you have. Do people know about a website or something where people
Yes,
could go
certainly. If you can find us on www.cologuadalupe.com, and you can find all the details there, and you will be able to also perhaps join us if you would like to become part of the musical, either being actor or just helping around the musical.
And I believe that in your theatre group, some people have had relatives who were thinking about termination because they were struggling, and they, after seeing the musical, they went to see their cousin and persuaded them to keep their baby.
Yes, we've had a few occasions where we have had wonderful results with people having seen our show. They've either been given that additional confidence and support to carry through with the pregnancy, and so in our experience, a few babies have been saved that way, either directly or indirectly from our show. And also we've had instances where parents or mothers who have been trying very hard to start a family, they've been successful after
To get pregnant.
connection
Oh,
with
wow.
us and through all our prayers and intercessions.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing
so
stuff.
they, you have a beautiful picture that you actually drew, isn't it, on Mary, Our Lady
Yes,
of
yes.
Guadalupe?
As part of the show, we needed a tilma to be painted with Our Lady of Guadalupe. And by a strange coincidence, I had the opportunity to volunteer to do that portrait of a lady. It took me a lot of hours because I'm not a natural painter, although I've dabbled with painting in school. But yes, that in itself was, for me, a minor miracle that I was able to carry it through.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I believe that some people also been part of theatre group have had abortions, but through the musical they found a real healing or restoration for them.
Yes, yes, indeed, that's true. I think we are, as a group, we try to provide support for all our members, not only for occasions where there've been unwanted pregnancies, so to speak, but we give support to all our cast and members. And they come from all different creed, background, and some of them have mental challenges. But we support them all, and we love them all, and we bring them in. And over the years, we've had amazing results.
And anyone can join your theatre group? Can beginners or people of all faiths and all beliefs?
Over the 10-15 years, we've had many different cast members who've joined us, and some of them have surprises with the background, things that they've done, and different perhaps beliefs that they have embraced. But in spite of that, they've crossed the barriers and they've actually joined us and have done very well with us, actually. It's a harmonious group.
We've had Buddhists, Muslims, people in all Christian Scientists and all sorts of things. But you were saying, in a sense, Mary brings people together, doesn't she?
Yes, I believe that we have been blessed, and our cause is a very fine cause, and I think our Lord has given us a lot of graces and opportunities to be able to meet a whole group of people and to be able to transform ourselves and to be able to collectively.
And you're offering some free acting, singing and writing classes?
Yes, as part of our group, every weekend from now on, we have an acting a class every Saturday where members get together, they share ideas, and the senior members and even some of our senior actors will give them some coaching on how to present themselves on stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And this is all free?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
that's
all
fantastic.
free. Yes.
And what do people do if they want to join the theatre group?
Yes, again, if they can actually go to our website, www.cologuadalupe.com.
And when is your musical? What date is it on?
Our musical is on the 2nd and the 3rd of December.
First and 2nd.
First and 2nd of December, sorry. That's Saturday and Sunday.
Fantastic. Well, I wish you all the best with your props and your backstage. And thank you and God bless you.
Thanks for having me.
You've been watching Spirit of Life. Stay tuned next week. Goodbye and God bless you.